So about Michael Jordan, how you gonna hit from outside the finals? You can't even get in.
Hello, welcome to the Basketball Addicts podcast. And today we've got a good one. We got a unique one. Chris is basically going to be out for this one and two other ones that are going to be short. The greatest upsets of all time. I think it's 10 and 11? No, 11 and 12. 11 and 12. And he's missing this one because him and his girlfriend are having their 2-year anniversary. So today. So it's a pretty big day. So congratulations to them. Stable relationship. We love that for them. So congratulations. So yeah, you guys got me today. We're gonna be talking about draft stuff. So basically, this is a draft preview. This is get your feet wet in the draft. Start to get a feel for these prospects. I love doing the draft. The draft is one of my favorite times of the year. I enjoy being right. I really work a lot, very, very hard on it. So far I have 46 guys ranked. That's a lot of guys already ranked. I already have a pretty good feel for the theme of the drafts, who the top guys are. Definitely. I have all of them ranked in my own personal way, in my own personal opinion. And honestly, we've been right a lot about the draft. Last year, we had Jalen Green 1, K2, Kuminga 3, who people didn't think was going to be a top 5 guy, and Mobley 4. And I was wrong on Mobley because I should have seen how good he was going to be as a power forward. But, we got guys like Nashawn Bones-Highland, right? He was supposed to go in the second round. I had him like 15th, I think, on our power rankings for players, and Cam Thomas was much higher than when he went in the draft. We got Cam Thomas very right. We actually chose one of our draft prospects was Zaire Williams. He was going in like the 20s. I was like, he's going to go 9 to 10 to 11 because of his upside. He went to the Grizzlies at 9. So, yeah, it's something I really take a lot of pride in. I do a lot of research on it. If anything controversial comes out of my mouth, I've probably researched it 3 more times than anything else, right? Because if I'm saying something and it's kind of off from what most people are saying, I want to make sure that it's just not one crazy game that they had and they lost their mind and they played abnormal to what their real skill set is. So I really, really take pride in that. Really try to make sure that the stuff that's like out there, everything's deeply researched even more on those things. So yeah, it's a fun draft this year. So let's go with the theme of his draft. I feel like is there's a ton of defensive centers, ton of shot blockers this year. There's like 5 guys that could be in the NBA for 8 years and be shot blockers and forces at the rim. Gazillion of them. And shooting guards. There's a lot of 3-point knockdown, stand still guys that are going to be in the league 8-10 years, role players, 3-point shooters that are in this draft. Legitimately, it's a really deep draft from that standpoint. And something I really want to talk about is who's number 1. And my number 1 is Jabari Smith Jr. He's everybody's number 1 right now. When I was looking at draft prospects like a few months ago, I was like, he's my number 1. I'm going to watch him again, though. But he's so special. I mean, he's dripping with talent. 6'10", so skilled, so athletic. I mean, the way he moves laterally is insane. Like, he loves to play defense. He's a force defensively. He's a force of nature defensively. It's ridiculous how his body moves like that, how he's able to get so low, how much he enjoys defending. And then you get to the other side, and it's amazing 3-point shooter. It's a ridiculous athlete. Can dribble and finish at the rim and shot creates for himself. And he reminds me a lot of Kevin Durant without the the Flash. Kevin Durant's greatness, like where he excels above most people, is his handle is ridiculous, and he's able to get his spots effortlessly from the handle and the shot creation from the perimeter. Those are things that Jabari Smith is not nearly as good as Kevin Durant is. That makes Kevin Durant really, really, really special. But he's kind of like right below that, where he has a lot of the fundamentals of 1-2 dribble pull up, turn around. Okay, somebody's guarding me. They're shorter than me. I'm shooting over them. Dribble in the lane, turn back over, turn back around, fade away. A lot of the footwork and the skill and the type of shots that he gets to is very much like the fundamentals of Kevin Durant. You know what I mean? The stuff that kind of goes unnoticed by most NBA fans, that may not be like the highlight tape stuff. That's like the meat and potatoes of what KD does. He's exactly like, and that's special. And he must be putting in a lot of work to get the footwork that he has. And when you pair a guy who wants to work on footwork and works on these type of things with his godly gifts athletically, you get a special guy. This is a special forward talent. I think he can play small forward, honestly, too, if you wanted him to. I get him playing power forward. He can guard 1 through 5, basically, unless 5's like Joel Embiid or Nikola Jokic. They're really great centers, but you could hide him on Rudy Gobert or Bamba, who's not. They might not be as offensively inclined. That's what I'm trying to get at. So yeah, he's special. He's so special. This is, a Jason Tatum type guy. This is just a guy that's ridiculous coming out. That is just gonna be Super Saiyan, All-Star, does it on both ends, so special. This guy's special. So that's my number one. Number two is a shocker. But it was really close between him and the other guy, is Jaden Ivy. Now I don't he's on 4 for a lot of people. I'd love this guy. I think you have to be able. It's the most important thing about NBA prospects is you have to watch mostly NBA basketball, so that I can say this guy fits in the game. What he does well and what his skill is fits into the NBA and what it is right now. Right? So what are we looking for? Who does perfect? Who plays best with spacing? Right? The athletic John Morants, the John Walls, those kind of athletic point guards, and are just so special with NBA spacing. With NBA spacing, individual one-on-one bucket getters are better and more important, right? Because they have spacing to do work. You might be able to throw a double team, but I got like a 34% three-point shooter standing out there, 34 to 40. You know what I mean? That spends all of his life for the last 6 years just being a professional. You know what I mean? Like, NBA spacing is real. The court's bigger as well. So it's a real thing that you have to be able to imagine players like Jaden Ivy with NBA spacing. All right. Jaden Ivy is so special, and you have to have the vision. In my opinion, if he was a 2 guard in the NBA, he'd be the 4th ranked prospect after Chet and Paolo Banchero. I'm not going to tell you what order they're in. I'll just say those 2 are next. But at point guard, he's special. And somebody he reminds me a lot of is Russell Westbrook, of situation and athletically. They're both 6'4", already kind of well built, so gifted athletically, both of them. He's in the Russell Westbrook tier athletically. And like Russell Westbrook, he plays shooting guard in college. They both played for winning teams. I'm pretty sure Russell Westbrook played with Kevin Love in college. They're both trying to win NCAA championships. They're trying to get the 5 best players on the floor, right? So they're not, they're not point guards in college, but they're point guards in the NBA because I see a lot of things like what you would see from Russell Westbrook in college, where he breaks it down to defense, he kicks it to the right spot. He just always seems to have a flair with his passing, behind the back passes. Seems to enjoy passing the basketball and make good reads. It just, he collapses the defenses, and it seems like he always makes the right choice when he collapses the defense. And that's where I'm like, this guy can be a point guard. And then there's the perimeter shot creation where he becomes ridiculous. Because with NBA spacing, he's going to be able to get to the rim whenever he wants. And, he's going to make good passes out of it. He might average like 5 to 6 assists a game, but it's not going to be, terrible. But with that perimeter shot creation ability that he's really developed is scary because if he's shooting from deep range, he's not a super efficient player yet. He's going to need time and the development and mentally and investment from a team to reach his peak. But his peak is scary because his peak is a 6'4" Russell Westbrook that can hit perimeter jump shots. That is scary. Deep 3-point shooting mixed with all of that, that's ridiculous. That's his upside. That's why it was really close between him and Jabari Smith for me. It's just that mental part and that making all the right decisions all the time. He doesn't always take the right shots. He doesn't always have the right understanding of game situation. What I mean by that is, like, they were down by like 6 points. He had already shot a deep 3 possession before that, early in the shot clock, and he shoots a deep 3. I'm like, you're down 6. There's like 3 minutes left in the game. Go get yourself a bucket. You know what I mean? Go throughout the offense. Maybe if it's 5 seconds left on the shot clock, then go shoot the deep 3. Right? It's little things like that. That's like his mind has to be kind of, polished. But he's 19, 20. It's going to take time. You know what I mean? But he's worth the investment. And his upside is so ridiculous that he's so special. He's special. A lot of people compare to John Morant. John Morant was a special passer coming out of college. You know what I mean? His average 10 assists a game. He's kind of different guy. Athletically, I kind of understand it. It's more of a compliment than anything else. But yeah, this guy is special. Really special. Fit's gonna matter though, because if he goes to a place with a point guard that's young, like the Kings, De'Aaron Fox. Houston would not be that bad of a fit. I feel like the Thunder. I don't know if the Thunder would be a good fit. It is. I mean, they have a lot of guards over there, and it's crazy to think that he's just such a special player. But if you have a point guard that's young and developing, you can't have them both. Like Cade Cunningham, it makes no sense next to Cade because they both need to develop as point guards. Why would you do that? Why would you put in that kind of investment when you don't really know? And as we look at the Magic would be a bad fit with Cole Anthony and the kid from Jalen Suggs. The Pacers wouldn't be that bad of a fit. Rockets, Thunder. Yeah, the Rockets would be the right fit. Or the Spurs. Spurs have DeJounte Murray. Yeah, I mean, the Thunder wouldn't be that bad now that I think about it, because Shea is 6'6" and Giddey's 6'8", so that wouldn't be that terrible, but because he would have that spacing. But that you understand what I'm trying to say here is he's gonna need the roster spot in the open development, and that somebody that's willing to take the time to develop such a gifted player like him. He's so gifted, it's insane. All right, so who's 3 and 4? Honestly, 3 is Paolo and 4 is Chet, but they're very close. Like, seriously. They're both special. They're both borderline all-stars, guys that could be all-stars in the NBA. Paolo, 6'10", is so special. His mid-range shot creation for himself. I see him trying to shot create from the 3-point line a little more, which is a really impressive thing for me because I only really saw him shot create from the mid-range before reevaluating these guys. Size is his game. He's so big and strong. He's going to be a solid all-star for a long time, and he's just very consistent. And I honestly really like his game. I think that he's just a really solid player. Seriously, like I really think that with NBA spacing, his ability to be so strong and big and dribble to the rim and finish is going to be a real thing. And then it's going to be like, okay, I'm going to get to this mid range jump shot. Oh, nope. Now I'm going to finish the rim. Now it's kind of like, let me shoot the mid range or finish at the rim. So at the right spot, he's going to be really good. If a team has a lot of the guard positions figured out, they need a power forward that can shot create, he's going to be a really good fit. And a lot of teams need forward depth, and this is a forward heavy, top heavy draft. I mean, there's 3 forwards. Well, I mean, Chet's a center. Could be considered a center, uh, but Pablo and Jabari are really great forwards. So he's a special guy. He is. I don't think he's worth the number 1 pick. I wouldn't choose him number 1, but if I'm sitting at 3, I would think about him. I would probably draft him. Like we did the standings game and we saw what teams were really low. The Kings immediately. They could use another guy next, because then you could have Paulo, Barnes, Sabonis, Davion rotating in with Dante DiVincenzo and Darren Fox. That team fits pretty well. It's just yeah. It's pretty special. And then the next guy is Chet Holmgren's number 4. Now, honestly, I was a lot lower on him until I watched him play again. And the reason why I was like, he reminds me a lot of Andre Bargnani. And I was like, shooting, big, center, flashes some shot creation ability, but it's not that consistent. Now it's starting to become more consistent. Now it's like he's starting to dribble and he's starting to handle. And now more of those things that he was touted to be coming out of high school are being shown more. And that's scary. So he's getting to his spots, he's getting to his shot. It's pretty special right now. So, he's not doing it hyper consistently, but he has a good feel for shot blocking. He has good timing. I don't think he's going to be an elite shot blocker. Like, I've seen him compared to Marcus Camby, and I don't think people know how athletic Marcus Camby is. Like, he's not Marcus Camby defensively. So, but this guy has good timing defensively. Let's not overcompensate. He's really thin. He's not going to really be shutting down Giannis Antetokounmpo at the rim or something like that. So, uh, he could be scary at the power forward position though. If you wanted to say who's guarding him, and that's going to be his thing. Who's guarding him, and he's going to be able to shot create. He's going to get to those spots, and I could really see him being a consistent all star, a unique guy. For a while in this league. He has high upside because, he's a great shooter and he's 7 feet tall. He's always going to be 7 feet tall. So he's going to shoot over everybody. And that's where he's going to be special. So yeah, he's number 4. And number 5, this guy is nuclear explosion in college. I mean, Johnny Davis is really good. Guard from Wisconsin, 6'5". Uh, he's not like he's one of those athletes. I think he's one of those deceptively athletic athletes. Like you watch him play and you're like, man, he looks like he's moving way faster than. Once you think about it, he's like, man, he's moving way faster than it looks on the TV or on YouTube or whatever you're watching. He's one of those guys, deceptively athletic, and he reminds me a lot of Devin Booker. It's a lot of tough shot creation, good 3-point shooter. Everything's a tough shot for him, and he's finishing around the rim. That's he's pretty special. I really like this guy. I like I like the way he plays. Tough shot makers are extremely important, and I really feel like he has the potential to be like D-Book. Or maybe, just below that. But I really wouldn't be surprised if, this is a borderline all-star in the NBA or just an all-star in the NBA. That is his upside, and that's what, he's special about him. And, man, the craziest thing, I have him 6 right now. Obviously, everything's subject to change, but this is where things change and where this might change. I've watched this guy play like 2 hours. I literally spent 2 hours watching this guy, and all I see is special. Basically, there is a guy who on mock drafts is ranked the 46th player the last time I saw him on a mock draft that I have 6th on my big board right now. Might change, but he's going to stay in the lottery. Let's just come out and say it. Orlando Robinson, Fresno State center. Well, he plays power forward. 6'11" junior. All right. I have literally been losing my mind for like the past 5 hours thinking about this guy. Seriously. I am so amazed at how terrible draft people can be and how a guy like this can be slept on. So this is our Nashawn Bones Highland of this year. When we said Nashawn Bones Highlands, the 15th ranked guy coming into the draft, he was going in the second round. Like, surprise, the guy that's the greatest perimeter shot creator in the draft, deep from the 3-point line, is going to be a good NBA player. I don't know what you were thinking. This guy is the most skilled center in the draft. Actually, Chet's pretty skilled. I guess Chet's probably the most skilled. He's number 2. He's special. Okay, let's get to it. All right, so I'm doing my draft rankings. I'm doing my thing, and I'm getting late into the draft rankings. I was like, okay, a lot of these guys are pretty iffy. One guy is like ridiculously iffy, and I just, I look at Orlando Robinson, and I'm like, this guy's from Fresno State. He's a center from Fresno State. I'm about to see a post big that can't move to save his life. Because that's what every mid-major 7 foot, 6'11" center is. The guy that looks like he's moving with cement blocks on his feet. Did not see that. No. Smooth athlete. Very good athletically. Not an overly gifted vertical athlete, but very laterally gifted and smooth, quick. And he's 6'11". He went to a G League elite camp or something of that nature last season. He recorded the lowest lowest vertical on their thing. I think it was 29 inches or 26, one of the two. And, that's his knock. Vertical athleticism. A 6'11" player. Not extremely vertically athletic. But if you watch him play, he doesn't seem like you would guess that. Just the eye test I was very surprised because he looks very athletic. But, he's not overly gifted vertically. So why do you have him here, Jason? Well, I was freaking amazed. Because, at first, post-game. Good post-game. Good footwork. Understands body control, gets to his spots right, uses his body well, uses footwork well, definitely has put a lot of time and effort learning post-game. Good hooks, good touch, deep hooks, honestly. A little deeper out hook range. Sure. That's where I thought things would stop. Till I start seeing him face up people in the mid-range and either pump or dribble past somebody and finish. So, the center has the ability to either hit a mid-range shot in somebody's eye or go to the rim and finish. with movement skills, with fluidity, with power. Sometimes he'll get to the rim, back somebody up, and finish again. Or, it's not like he's slamming on everybody. He's like Kevin Garnett. No. But he's facing up, and I'm going to hit this mid-range shot, or I'm going to finish at the rim. Oh. And then I see him start ball handling and crossing up and hitting tough step backs. Then I start seeing him hit 3-point shots at an elite level, start handling and dribbling the basketball, crossing people over. What? This guy is literally skilled with the ball in his hands. He can handle the basketball. It's ridiculous. He has the body and the physicality to dominate inside, yes, but it's the flashes of shot creating for himself at 7 feet tall and a guy who shoots 34% from the 3-point line and 80% from the free throw line. His jump shot is fluid as heck. So we have a highly skilled 6'11", ball handling, mid-range shooting, post-dominant center, and he's 46th because people think that he's not a great vertical athlete. Do you understand basketball? He's 6'11". He's always going to have height. I don't care what someone's vertical advantage on him is. His value is going to be on the offensive end of the floor where he's shooting over everybody. I don't care if there's some 6'8" guy, 6'9" guy like Jeremy Shawns from Baylor that might test better at the combine. He's not blocking his shot because he's so tall. Height matters. He plays physically. That helps him. What he's going to do in the NBA is be like, oh my gosh. Because what we talked about before, tough shot makers and the ability to create for yourself, and ISO guys get more space in the NBA. He usually has another person clogging the lane. He's special. Like special. Like it's flashes of Karl Anthony Towns and Embiid skill-wise. He's just not as physically gifted. How many times have you watched NBA basketball and seen the same exact center? Lob, shot blocker at the rim, athletic. That's like 60% of the league at the center position. You think a guy that's highly skilled can't break through because he's not highly athletic? He's going to stand out like a sore thumb. When you run your pick and roll actions, he's going to be able to knock it down from everywhere, right? And when you kick it to him, he's got the post skill of a dominant center. So when you kick it to him, he's going to post spin and finish at the rim. I'm watching a very highly skilled, gifted 6'11" player that is dominant skill-wise, and he's ranked 46 in this class. I am literally so amazed. This draft, after 6-7, is extremely weak. This is not a deep draft at all. It's a lot of role players, not a lot of guys with all-star potential. I'm just going to be frank with you. This is going to be the role player draft after the first 6 to 7. So in a list full of role players and some people that are like shooting guards that are shooting like 25% from the 3-point line and 60% from the free throw line that are going to get mocked in like the top 20 shooting guards. And this guy can't break through. Patrick Baldwin shooting 33% from like the free throw from the field and like 25 from the 3-point line is going to get drafted before him. Like, he is just so special. And I don't know what everybody else is watching. It's just like this crazy stigma, or it's a Fresno State thing. It's a mid-major thing. Maybe many people probably have never heard of him. But this athleticism debate is the stupidest thing I've ever heard in my life, because people don't understand about basketball. Nobody cares if you're not perfect defensively if you're killing them on the other end. You see Luka Doncic, anybody talk about Luka Doncic, talk about his defense? Why? Because he's offensive nuclear weapon and nobody cares. Nobody cares that he can't guard a tree. Because he can't. This guy's not that bad a defender. He moves well laterally, so he's going to not be as terrible as people think when he switches. I watched a guy last year. Oh, my goodness. I watched a guy get drafted last year that is playing on the rookie team, that is probably going to make all rookie, that has cement for feet, get drafted in the 20s. His name is Alpine Sangoon. He had post skill. He's 6'11", and he couldn't hold a torch to this guy. Athletically. What is it? Because he's European? What is like Alpine Sangoon is like so freaking tight-hipped and so unathletic, but he can get away with it, but some random guy from Fresno State can't break through a stigma? Because you guys just want to write him off? You guys listen too much. Most draft experts are the high level ones are hooked into some NBA franchises, and they have some people give them advice. Oh, what do you think of this player? Oh, and they'll tell them what player they don't want to be drafted before when they want to draft to push them up. And it's just a game. These guys get played, right? I actually watch these guys. I break down every single one. I'm talking about the 46th guy that was ranked on my list after doing 3 hours of film breakdown on him. Like, it's just so stupid. It's so stupid, and this is how great people get drafted, but he's so special. Like, he is so special, it's unreal. He's so skilled. It makes me so sad because this guy might go back to college. He might not hear what he wants to hear from the NBA draft people. He might go back to college and waste the season in the NBA. Or this is the kind of guy that might not get the right opportunities and flame out of the league. He's way more athletic and fluid than people. It's just like the stigma and this label. We're going to label these players. It was just like the Sean Bones Highland, inefficient basketball player, labeled. You know why? It's because whenever random people see things that are special, and it's just like, oh, this guy's ranked 40th, but I see something special. There must be something wrong. I'm going to find those weaknesses and stare at them for 55 hours straight, just so I can be like everybody else. We're not doing that here. No, not at all. Never will. It's not our brand. I could be completely wrong about this guy. Sure, I'll tell you when I'm wrong. I told you I was wrong at the beginning of this draft about Evan Mobley. If I'm wrong about this guy, I'll tell you. But he's special. What I've seen so far is special. It's amazing. It's just, he's so fluid. He's so skilled. It's just, you have to watch the NBA all the time to know a guy who can handle and shot create at the center position is like finding diamond in the rough. Little diamonds. Nobody does that. It's rare. And to have a guy do that in college and not get any notice for it just because of stupid barriers that is holding this guy back is honestly amazing. Honestly. It's just, he's so special. And go watch him. Go watch him. Prove me wrong. Go watch him dominate multiple teams and tell me I'm wrong. Tell me he doesn't flash those shot creation abilities that I'm trying to tell you. Because it's ridiculous to see a 7-footer flash the things that he flashes. He's 21. He's a junior. It's amazing how stupid NBA teams are. This is a special basketball player. I would be so upset if he doesn't get a good opportunity in the NBA. Livid. I can't believe guys like Alpine Sangoon get drafted in front of him are like the guy. Like Alpine Sangoon's literally the only center on the Houston Rockets. He's just getting a lot of playing time. He's not some amazing center. But a guy like this, what are you guys watching? People might think he's a power forward. Really? The 6'11" guy is going to be a power forward in the NBA? He can't play center? Get out of here. Come on. Come on. He's special. All I see is special when I watch him. So, now we're going to move on to the next guy. I knew that was going to be pretty insane. We'll go to the 7th guy, and then we'll talk a little bit shortly about the rest of them. The next guy is Jalen Duran. He's special athletically. A lot like DeAndre Jordan. Ridiculous. He's going to be so special defensively, so fluid, so athletic. But he has no skill, like, at all. So it's going to take time to develop him. But he's got a great body, great athleticism. He's the kind of guy you take a shot on, and if he fails, he's DeAndre Jordan, rebounds at a high level, shot blocks at a high level, and is a great lob threat at elite levels for your team. And there's the rest of the draft is a lot of 3-and-D guys with not as high upsides, guys that are good 3-point shooters. There's just a lot of them, a lot of good 3-point shooters. Tari Eason's really good. Benedict Mathurin's good. Nikola Jovic is probably the most unique guy in the draft because he's like 6'10". He's mobile, but he's not vertically athletic. He has pretty low 3-point percentage, but he has a real gift at passing the basketball. He like posts decent really well and shows like some mid-range turnaround jump shots, and he's his system fit perfectly. If the Spurs or the Warriors, a team that's like high basketball IQ, he fits perfectly in those kind of teams. He's probably the most unique, odd prospect in the draft. Let's see here. Yeah, number 8's Tari Eason, sophomore, guy who shot creates a little bit from the 3, 6'8", shoots 36% from the 3-point line. Really solid guy, has the potential to be a guy that averages 20 to 21, 22 per game. Benedict Mathurin is a pretty solid guy, 6'7" from Arizona. He's the 9th guy, a good athlete, shoots 38% from the 3-point line. Keegan Murray, he's a sophomore, 6'8". He's really unique. But honestly, what I think is going to do mostly in the NBA is stretch at the 3 and be a real good finishing guy at the rim. But a lot of his post stuff is not going to work as well because he's 6'8". So, that's the most bread and the meat and potatoes of how he scores. But on a winning team that needs a forward that just does the roles very well, he's a good fit at the power forward position. Ty is our number 1 point guard. He's a smooth operator, gets to his mid-range spots. He's not going to ever be an all-star or anything like that, but he's going to be a high IQ guy. No amazing point guards in this draft. Kendall Brown is going to be a nice 3-and-D guy, real athletic 6'8" guy from Baylor. And the last guy in our lottery is John Butler, FSU, 7'1" guy that shoots the 3 really well and moves and ridiculously athletic. He's so fluid. It's just the kind of guy you don't pass on. And a guy I'm lower on, he might rise, is AJ Griffin. 6'6" scares me, and he's not athletic. He's like shooting a ridiculous 48% from the 3-point line or something ridiculous like that, but it's the athleticism that scares the poo out of me. It's like, are you the next Steve Novak, or are you better? Or are you like a little bit better? How much better? Because he reminds me a lot of Steve Novak athletically. That should scare people. So And it's just after that, there's one guy I really like from France that's going to be a real defensive force. Is Ismail Karamagate. He's supposed to be early second round draft pick. I have him 17. He was probably going to be minus Sean Bones Highland guy until I found a ridiculous center that was freaking amazing. I don't know what everybody's watching again, but we'll get off that high horse. I'll talk about him all episode. Uh, really special, fluid athlete. Like he's so special vertically, but he's just like his ability to turn his hips and just it's nasty. It's nasty how fluid his hips are. So when he gets switched, he's gonna be amazing, and everybody's gonna see it like, just this guy is special. So he's a high upside defensive stud in the NBA. That's gonna be a good lob threat. Has some post skill. Let's be honest here. It's not that skilled, but that defensive force is a real high upside of being a defensive god. 6'11", bam. So that I'm not exaggerating that, by the way. So that's how special. Caleb Houston is the kind of guy that's like, I like him. Freshman is a really good 3-point shooter. JD Davidson's going to do better in the NBA with more spacing. I'm a real fan of Wendell Moore Jr. I think he's really smooth, 6'5". Really good 3-point shooter, but his ability to shot create and be smooth and finish at the rim, I think his game's going to fit really well in the NBA. Ochai Abajai, another good 3-point shooter. Wasn't kidding. This is like a 3.3 and D draft and a bunch of centers. Mark Williams is not that bad. He's pretty good. 7'1", not only skilled, but he's going to be another block guy, rebound guy. Moves pretty smooth for a 7'1" guy. So he's going to be a pretty solid center in the NBA defensively, especially. Kennedy Chandler, I like him. He's athletic. He's a nice standstill shooter. He's not a ton of great perimeter shot creation, but he reminds me a lot of Patty Mills. A really good 3-point shooter, not going to be otherworldly shot creating from there, but efficient. Efficient player, makes good passes, has the athleticism to attack the interior. Kind of reminds me of him. Maron Bouchamp, G League guy, really gifted athletically. There's a lot of 6'6" guys that just like can't shoot the ball to save their life. He's one of them. EJ Liddell. Dear goodness, if EJ Liddell was 6'9", he'd be a top 5 pick. He'd be probably below Chet. He's ridiculous. So skilled at every 3-level score. Man, 6'7". Got unlucky with the gene pool. Maybe you should wear some like high heels to the basketball game. I don't know, man. Make it work, because dear goodness, he's just so skilled, so strong, so big. Man. Reminds me a little of Chris Middleton, too. So he has a chance in the NBA becoming a small forward, maybe if he thins down. Blake Wesley's pretty decent shot creator. Christian Braun, he's going to be a decent shooter from the 3. Patrick Baldwin is a potential boomer bust guy. He shoots so terribly from the field, it's ridiculous, but he flashes a lot of smoothness for a 6'9" guy and shot create. He takes NBA level shots. It's just they never go in to an egregious extent. Jeremy Shawn, I understand why people like him because he's athletic, but he literally doesn't do much else other than rebound. So I don't really know why everybody's in love with him. Walker Kessler, he's a good shot blocker, but he's so tight-hipped. I'm really worried about him guarding people. Like, he makes the kid from Fresno State look like freaking Adonis. Aldonus Williams, nice player from Wake Forest and really nice passer. And, that's probably around 30. And there's just a lot of guys here that are really solid, that are going to be good shooters in the league, like I was trying to explain. There's some guys I'm really low on. Like, I'm amazed that, what's his name? I'm sorry that you're going to have to hear this, but there's some guys that are so funny at the bottom of this list that I got to read them off. So John Montero, the guy that's overtime elite, how is he in anybody's first round draft projection. He's like 6'2". He's not overly athletic. Like if you're playing against overtime elite players, you should stand out athletically if you're an NBA first round draft prospect. He doesn't. He doesn't have a ton of skill scoring the basketball. He's just a decent passer and like has a decent pull up mid range shot. Like that's literally it. And he's in the first round. Like who's doing these drafts? It's egregiously bad. So I can't believe people have him. I mean, like Matthew Cleveland, this guy shoots 18% from the 3-point line, and 56% from the free throw line. I don't care if you're kind of athletic. You're a 2 guard and can't touch the rim shooting. You're going to be the next Ben Simmons at the 2 guard position, but you're not as athletic. Good luck. Have fun. And there's one really funny guy at the end here. You guys got to hear this. So there's this guy named Dave Roddy from Colorado State, shooting guard, junior, 6'5". I'm just gonna read this off from the script. It's gonna be hilarious. This guy legitimately looks like physically like a 6'5" Glenn Big Baby Davis, and that's not a compliment. He's a wide human being. Posts. Usually, I would just discard somebody that looks like that, but he flashes shot creation ability from the 3-point line. It's surprising how quick and like mobile and good he gets to his spots. He shoots 46% from the 3-point line. It's ridiculously how quick and fast he is for the size that he's carrying. Like he's a wide human being. Honestly, this guy could be a lottery pick. He just goes back to the Colorado State. I think that's where he's playing. Colorado State, go on a diet, lose your weight, and you'll be a lottery pick. Because this guy, 46% from the 3-point line, just by that itself is impressive. But the ability to shot create for himself is a really impressive thing. So if you pair that skill with a trimmed down body and a guy that's probably naturally a stronger human being as well, that's where things could get interesting for him. So go back to the NBA, not NBA. Go back to college, David Robbie, and go make yourself $1 million. Trust me, buying the dietitian will be worth it. So these guys are professional athletes. I wouldn't talk about somebody's weight like that. That was just a normal human being, but they get paid to be in shape. So yeah, that's where we're at NBA draft wise. It's weaker than last year. Definitely not as deep. Not even close. Not even close as deep. Jonathan Kuminga went 7. Yeah, not even close. So, this is kind of what the draft. But please do me a favor and go watch this kid, Orlando Robinson. I shouldn't call him a kid. He's like 3 years younger than me. This guy, Orlando Robinson. Please go watch him. Go tell your friends. Go tell everybody else they're wrong. Join the movement. Because this guy needs to be in the first round. This guy needs the publicity. This guy's special. Legitimately special. And nobody's talking about him. Second rounder. It's ridiculous. It's just really needs to be the guy. He really needs to be. This is our draft guy. This is our logo for the draft. This is what I love most about the draft, is making my own opinion and seeing what I truly believe and being right. Who doesn't want to be more right than everybody else? But this guy's special. And just go watch him. Go see how amazing he is. If you disagree, check out our Instagram, YouTube, TikTok. You can talk to us. Tell me I'm wrong. But he's special, in my opinion. Well, this is going to be the end of the podcast. I'm Jason Collins, and we're the Basketball Addicts.